What's up, guys? Welcome to Diving Garage. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how one zip tie that cost less than a penny ruined my $1,200 Holley EFI system. Let's dive in. All right, while I was getting set up for another video, I wanted to share this with you because I just got this sniper back from Holley after almost 45 days of waiting. And you'll notice there's something different. This is the Holley Super Sniper, part of the 2x4 kit that can handle up to 20 pounds of boost and I think about 1,100 horsepower with the pair of them, of course. And yeah, this is the ECU. And you'll notice that it no longer matches the tan or gold color body that the rest of the system is, and there's a good reason. This here is the O2 sensor cable off of the old ECU, because if you don't know, the Sniper ECUs, the harness, all the wires you see coming off of them, they're not two separate things, they're one unit. So if you need to replace the ECU on these, you gotta replace all the wiring. And what that also means is that if you damage one of the cables, you gotta replace the whole ECU. I know, that really sucks, honestly. So what happened here? This is the O2 cable from the old ECU, and as you can see, it saw some heat. I didn't really put a lot of attention on it, but when I went to the track a while back, one of the zip ties that was holding that cable on, I guess came loose. Maybe it fell. I don't remember exactly what happened, but this O2 cable is long. You can see here. Look at that thing. That's a solid like 3 feet. Now, I'm not too sure why it's that long. I can't really think of any application where it needs to be that long, because the cable itself, which let me go grab it. The cable itself has a nice long lead. That's like an 18-inch lead, I think. So why, I'm not too sure why Holley decided to put a 3-foot long harness for a cable that's already got 18 inches of length on it. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, so when I was at the track, zip tie came loose. This cable right here found its way to the exhaust header, which while it was running, of course, and it melted it real good. And I didn't like that. And not only that, I've cut it off since then, but you can see up here how the wire is all stripped away and all frayed out. It was pretty badly damaged. It had, you can actually see a little, where are you at? You can see a little bit of it right there. See how the cable's all worn through? It was way worse than that. And it was all over. So what I attempted to do was I went out and bought a O2 extension harness from Haltech. And my idea was I was going to cut off the end of that, splice my cable in, make the repair, and all would be well, right? Well, that's not what happens. What happens when you destroy one of the O2 cables like I did is what it actually does is it damages the drivers inside of the Holley ECU. So it doesn't matter if you make the repair, it doesn't matter how good you do, how bad you do. The only thing that matters is once that cable is fried, the drivers for the ECU are also fried. So that means your ECU is toast. It doesn't matter what you do, it's done. I had several conversations with Holley about this, reached out on the Holley forums, and even the Holley employees on there were saying, "You're done, dude. Send it back and we'll fix it." So this 1-cent zip tie dropped or failed, and it caused this cable to fall into the exhaust header, get damaged, and that fried the ECU. So now to address the point, why the heck is it chrome silver? Because when I sent it back to Holley after an extended wait period, they finally got back to me and they said, "Hey, you're in luck, we got one in stock, but it's silver, and that's the only one we got." And I talking to the tech and I was asking him like, "Why is this like very common?" He said, "Oh yeah, this is a really common repair we make, so much so that we're out of your color. There are no more colors for your Super Sniper. The best we can do is this chrome one." And what was I to do? I didn't really have a choice. They didn't have black. They didn't have, of course, the tan. They just had the chrome, so I was stuck. So about 45 days and $300 later, I got my Super Sniper back. And if you're a follower of the channel, you probably noticed Hank has been MIA for about that time. And that's why. So this is the ECU, and this runs the whole show. Without that, you got nothing. So Hank's just been a paperweight ever since. So what can you do to prevent that? Well, I can tell you what I'm gonna do. And the first thing is I'm gonna route the cables much differently. Since this O2 cable coming from the harness is so stinking long, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap it around like this, make sure it's not interfering with anything. And then I'm gonna run it back down that way behind the transmission, hook it up to the cable, and then pull all of the slack. So that way, basically from the O2, from this end of the O2 up to where this section here, there's gonna be no slack whatsoever. I'm gonna zip tie it probably here, and then coming around the back. And then also I have a bracket for the linkage and also to that. So the cable is gonna go around to here. All the slack will be taken out, then it'll go down to the O2. So this is a lot of cable. I really don't understand. Maybe somebody out there does. I don't understand why this is so long. If this has happened to you before, let me know about your experience. Has this exact thing happened? Did you have to send back to Holly to get repaired? Or did you maybe have a close call? Let me know, all these sniper guys out there, what have you done to combat this issue where the O2 cable is just way too long? And if you're curious on how to install one of these units, I'll put a link down in the description about me putting this system on in the first place. And that's about it, guys. Like I said, I'm setting up for another video. I got some more coming on the $500 budget build challenge. I'm gonna get that into a long block probably this weekend, the next few days here. So more content coming out about that. If you liked the video, guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get out there and dive in your next project. Catch you next time.